I was bullied a while back, and I still feel pretty alone at school. What can I do to make new friends and feel better?
Not cool. I'm so sorry you were bullied. Thank you for telling me. I can totally get how you feel alone.
For sure, it's possible to make good new friends. Get involved in groups or activities you're interested in and meet friends that way. Focus on what you like to do. When you're having fun, it's easier to make friends.
If you're really having trouble getting over it, talk to a trusted adult to help you figure out what to do.
Yes, sir. Right now, you guys are locked in right now to a special edition of that.
Brand new LCP.
If you have a child, if you have nieces and nephews, or even if you think back to your own past, we have all been subjected to bullying. And in the past, and again, of course, I hope that this is not you anymore. But even in the past, some of you guys may have actually done the bullying. So we're going to boo your bullying ass immediately. But on this special episode, I want to center on bullying, and I want to focus on the story of a young woman, a young teen named Adriana, and also a 12-year-old by the name of Kalia Turner, who attempted to hang herself due to relentless bullying. She was from South Carolina, so I'm going to play you guys her story in full from the Factor Uncensored with my guy Isaiah. Clap it up for Isaiah. A lot of you guys have kids in elementary school, middle school, high school, and I don't give a fuck how young your child is. Bullying happens in preschool. I used to work in a preschool back in the Bronx, New York, and I had to stop so much bullying, man, because kids often imitate what they see, because that's how they learn, especially when they're young. So don't think that, oh, my child is 5, my child is 6. My child doesn't have to go through bullying until they reach middle school and high school, because it's simply not true. So please never let yourself get to a naive state where you think that there's an age limit for bullying to actually start, because it's not. So like I said, man, I want you guys to sit back, get comfortable, man. And we're going to talk about bullying because it's something that we can't avoid, especially now with social media. And I spoke about this in the past before with how kids now have to go through so much more when it comes to bullying, because, and I hate to be the back in my day type guy, man, but when I was in elementary school, middle school, even like the beginning of high school, like if you got bullied at school, once you left school for the day, you got on your bus or you got home, the bullying was over. But now with social media, as you guys are going to see now with the 2 stories that I'm going to highlight, social media and cyberbullying, like that can only escalate the bullying that happens at school. So now once you're done and now you go home, you can't even decompress and at least enjoy the couple hours, the 12 hours that you're going to get before you got to go back to school and deal with the bullying again, because 3 o'clock come, you go home. Now you got to be subjected to more bullying online, man. So like I said, man, sit back, relax, get comfortable, man. But we're going to start with a story via Inside Edition, where they spoke about a teen who took her own life after being attacked by bullies. I'm going to come back, share my thoughts. And then, like I said, man, I want to highlight a very big portion of this bonus episode. I want to focus on a young girl by the name of Kalia Turner from South Carolina, 12 years old. She attempted to hang herself, and, you know, her family is still living with the after effects of their once seemingly healthy child, you know, and what she was driven to do by her peers, and how you guys are going to see how even some of the teachers played the role in driving that child to commit suicide. And again, I don't want to judge these teens, because we've all been there before. You know, when you're 11, when you're 12 years old, I don't think these kids realize that attempting to hang yourself is going to have a lifelong impact. Because I'm not even sure if some of these kids can really fathom that death, that you don't come back. I know that looking at it now from our grown perspective, we might believe that, but we don't know what these kids think. And as they say, like, sometimes you get pushed so far to the edge to where you don't know. But let's dive into this. Is via Inside Edition. Let's dive into the first story so you guys can hear about the teen who took her own life after a video that was taken of her getting beat up got posted on social media. So I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to sit back. Check this story out. Talk to me Inside Edition.
A 14-year-old girl is ambushed by bullies in her high school hallway. She's hit in the face with a bottle, kicked, and slapped until she blacks out. As she lies there on the floor, she's even taunted by one of her attackers.
That's what you get, stupid.
What makes the attack even more tragic is that the victim, Adriana Cush, took her own life the day after the video was posted on social media. The incident happened here at Central Regional High School in the town of Bayville in southern New Jersey. Some students say bullying is rampant here at the school. And following Adriana's suicide, 3 of the students involved in the attack have been charged with felony assault. I spoke with Adriana's heartbroken father today following the wake for their daughter.
I've watched that video 1,000 times. I've went through it second by second, picking out every detail.
It's just got to be hard to watch your daughter. I mean, this is your little girl in this video.
I can't tell you how many times I've cried.
Did the school do enough to help Adriana?
School has not done enough to help Adriana or any of these kids. I have multiple mothers reaching out to me, sharing their stories.
What do we want? Justice! Adriana! What do we want? Justice! Justice!
Angry students staged a walkout from classes today in protest over Adriana's death.
We need justice for her, and we won't stop fighting until we get it.
As you guys are standing here on the side of the road, cars are going by, honking their horns in support. It seems like they're agreeing with you guys.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot of support for this. Everybody, it needs to just stop. They need to put their foot down, and they need to fire half the people at Central Regional High School.
I want to clap it up, man. Now, you guys who are first day listeners of that LCP, you guys probably remember the multiple times where I spoke about when I used to work in the school district and how it was so much bullying going on, man. Elementary school, middle school, high school, and how a lot of times when I reported that bullying, nothing was done. And this is often the case because all these school districts, all these states, they're not lying. Trust me, they're not lying.
Ooh, you a lie.
Everybody can't be lying. Now, 1, 2 people, yes, but damn near every state you could think of, the parents, even some of the staff says, hey, nothing is being done about bullying. Now, I can fondly remember a couple incidents where, I had a child be bullied. And of course, me doing my job as a reporter, somebody who was part of a faculty, I'm doing my job. I reported it to the higher ups, to the superintendent, to the principal, and nothing was done. I was told, well, this child is low income. And, if we punish this child, then this child has nowhere to go when the mom is at work. So therefore, the child has to stay in school. And I'm looking like, bitch, what the fuck does that have to do with the kids who have to go to school and show up and ride the bus and go to class and be around this child who is consistently bullying not only the teachers, but also the staff? I had a child break a teacher's arm by shoving her down the stairs. Broke her arm. He got 1 day suspension and then he got 2 weeks in school suspension, which was basically in the school still being around kids and he got the in school suspension because, like I said before, he was from a low income neighborhood and his mom had nowhere for him to go. This is something that is all too common. And this is why you see teachers, it's a high turnover rate. And why, if you go to damn near let's rewind for a second. Now, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, in DeKalb County. And when the school year started in August, they had about, I think in DeKalb County, they were still trying to hire over 100 teachers. Like, that's how many teachers are leaving and pivoting to new careers. I seen a story a year and a half ago of a teacher who worked in a school district. He left and now he's a manager at Walmart. And he says now he makes way more at Walmart and he doesn't even envision himself going back to the school district because even though his job now is stressful, He says it's nowhere near as stressful as working in the school districts. I want to clap it up, man, for all the teachers out there. For being a teacher, a doctor, police officer, like those the type of jobs where you gotta have, like, you have to have a passion. Like certain jobs you just can't get because you want to check. Because how you feel about that job, how you carry yourself, how you interact with people, like your compassion, like simply the heart you have for that job can play a part in you doing that job properly. Because you being passionate is how students get help. You being passionate is how a doctor's patients feel confident with you performing their surgery. You being a police officer who cares about your job is how the community actually sees you in a positive light, as opposed to the police officers who simply show up to heckle, to harass, to arrest, to kill. So you have to have a passion when you have those type of jobs. Now, to segue from that, man, the story of, now 14-year-old Kalia Turner. She was a 12-year-old at the time from South Carolina. She went to a middle school and she ended up attempting to hang herself. And now this was her way of simply wanting to put the bullying, the torment, and the negativity behind her. Now, she ended up surviving. So as you guys are going to see with the story that I'm going to play from the Factor Uncensored, hosted by my guy Isaiah, her family now has to live with the many, many health complications that she suffered from attempting to hang herself. You guys are going to hear about the lawsuit. You guys are going to hear about how even after she hung herself, the bullies, the people who drove her to hang herself, they showed up at the hospital with their phones. They took videos of her laying down in ICU and continued to torment her by posting those videos on social media. As she lay in a coma, you guys are going to hear how the faculty, the teachers, a lot of them failed 12-year-old Kalia Turner, who is now 14. So, like I said, man, you guys out there, man, who have kids, I don't care if you got a son, daughter in elementary, middle school, and high school, this is the episode for you. So lock in, tune in, and like I always say, man, continue to support that.
Brand new LCP.
So I'm going to step aside, but before I step aside, you guys want to support extra. Again, my Cash App is $NYC Story 718. My Venmo is Lunchroom Chat Pod. And also, we are now live on Amazon Music and also the iHeartRadio app. So for you guys out there, you got friends that don't have an iPhone, we are now on that Amazon Music and also the iHeartRadio app. Yes, sir. Clap it up now. Trigger warning, man, because some of the details and some of the things about this case, if you have a heart, if you are compassionate, it might get to you. But I'm going to step aside. I'm going to play the whole clip uninterrupted. 9 minutes. Fox 26 Houston. This is the Factor Uncensored, hosted by Isaiah. Talk to me.
And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. A new lawsuit alleges bullies went to extreme lengths to taunt and torture their victim. Kalia Turner's family in South Carolina says she was 12 years old when she tried to hang herself in 2023. This is after 5 other teens at her school physically and verbally abused her for a year. And it doesn't end there. Turner survived that suicide attempt, but has serious injuries. She was legally dead for 8 minutes and suffered brain damage and did not come out of a coma for weeks. According to the lawsuit, those same bullies snuck into the hospital room and took photos of Kalia and posted them on social media. Kalia's family have also accused school faculty members and the district of negligence. Joining us to talk about it, former Sandy Hook's board member, Cody McCubbin, who went through a whole school shooting that was national news, certified life coach Deborah Savoy, and Carmen Martinez with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So, Carmen, first of all, your thoughts about this and seeing the lengths that these young people went through to torture and terrorize this young girl.
I think it's a very sad story. Just learning more the details about it and just bullying. I think we have to, as parents, and just how to support teens and kids. Statistically, as young as 11 years old, kids try to attempt suicide. So it's a very alarming statistics. But I think for parents, they have to remember that it's just like they want to talk about physical health and kind of helping their child. It's also okay to talk about suicide and ask them about their mental health.
What kicks in at 11 years old or at that standard age that would make a kid consider taking their own life?
I think when it comes to suicide, education is the main key, because a lot of people always think there's always one factor, and it's a combination of many factors. But a lot of behavioral changes, it's really what's going to affect. A lot of the parents need to notice that, and those are the very first key points to really realize how to approach those healthy conversations.
And Cody, you have been disgusted by this story, but this is nothing new to you.
No, actually, when I was about in 7th grade, we had his name was Peter Renterera, and he actually committed suicide when in the 7th grade. And he was bullied relentlessly, and it was in the classroom, and it happened over and over. I mean, the thing is that you could see he was kind of going along with it and joking with it at first, but I even noticed at one point it was, guys, he ain't laughing anymore. He's not joking along with this anymore. And there was other issues that were going on at home, but at one point, I think the bullying got to the point where it got him over that edge, and he took a gun to himself, and he killed himself. It was devastating to the school. It was devastating. The teacher, who I think she thought it was a joke too, and she was going along with it, I don't think she was ever the same.
And so was that part of the reason why you got involved with education, to help young people because you were a school board member, or?
Maybe maybe subconsciously, I don't know. I mean, that was, it's kind of hard. I mean, that kind of episode affected me throughout my entire life. That's why I've always been very conscious of, like, when I listen to my kids, I'm always very attuned to, like, what's going on with them, because because kids are cruel. They're mean, and they can be incredibly cruel without understanding. I mean, just hearing about these kids taking pictures, it's like, at what point do you stop? And then one thing I would say is, like, where are the parents? Where are the parents through all this? Why aren't the parents, like, totally, like, how did they raise such hellish, monstrous children? It's like, who in their right minds think that's even remotely acceptable? It just baffles me.
And Deborah, you're agreeing with him when it comes to parents. Where are the parents?
Most definitely, I agree. Where are the parents? How are these children being raised that you can actually just be so mean and so cruel? I, for one, have been an educator for over 30 years, and myself and my husband and my children, and even my grandson, was even bullied, not so much in a physical way, but for me, the mental thing sticks with you for quite some time. So,
that's when you were in school?
That's when I was in school, in high school and junior high. Those things really affect you along the way in life. But my thing was this: I became an educator, and when I became an educator, as a teacher and an educator and a person that was previously bullied, I made it known to my parents, and I made it known to the school that will not happen in Miss Savoy's classroom. We show love, we show compassion. But I do agree with Cody. Some people are raising hellish children, and you can't tell them anything about their kids, because even the parents are bullied themselves.
And is it possible with any of you, some of these parents are abusive, and then these kids come to school, and then they act out and become the bully?
Absolutely.
That's probably where it comes from.
I think one thing as parents nowadays, we have to be comfortable with asking a child, even as young as 11 years old or even younger. I know you're struggling, and I see you struggling. You have to, kids take a long time to kind of talk to that parent.
And that was my question. How do you make them open up? Because they don't share that stuff.
They might not open up. You have to keep asking and look at those behaviors, but you have to be asking them directly. A lot of people shy away from asking, are you thinking about harming yourself? Are you thinking about taking your own life? statistically shows that when you ask that, a lot of the kids or even adults will kind of just share, yes, I've been struggling. So don't be afraid. On afsp.org, there's tons of healthy conversations how to approach that, because it is very scary for parents, but you have to ask those questions.
Carmen, how do you think kids, well, we'll come back and talk about this in just a second. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Stay with us. Our guests will return with us here on The Factor. Stay with us. Leah Turner's family in South Carolina is still trying to figure out what went wrong with the 12-year-old while so many classmates bullied her and she attempted to commit suicide. They snuck into her hospital room and took pictures of her and bullied her when she was on death's door, and she even died. And of course, we have our guest here talking about this on The Factor Uncensored. So for you, how do kids get that way, where they don't care the damage that they do until they're publicly humiliated or called out about it?
I think it takes time. You'll be able to see those kids change in behavior. A lot of kids nowadays deal with depression, anxiety. So as a parent, you have to even be more involved, not only on a day-to-day asking them how they're feeling, but you have to really be involved into what is struggling with their behavior, and ask them, like we were saying earlier, ask them, flat out, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Is it getting so bad that you have thoughts of suicide?
But I'm talking about the bad kids.
Yeah.
How do they get that bad?
I say that's parenting, honestly. I think it goes back to the parenting and
Let's
how they
hear
were
from
raised.
you all really quick in our last minute or so here.
I think it does come from parents and their upbringing and in the home, because again, I was an educator for over 30 years, and when I wrote a note or tried to get parental involvement with a child that I was having problems with, the parent would come and would not even accept what I was saying. He didn't do this or she didn't do that. They would try to even bully me. They didn't want to believe that their child was having those type of behaviors and exhibiting those type of behaviors in a school setting.
And you tried to shield your children from that by putting them in private school, and bullying was still there.
Absolutely. Our son, we put both our children in school. Our son went through it in private school, and we decided to take him out, and we were drugged to court because they tried to put truancy on us.
All right, and you can't get away from 20 seconds. Your thoughts?
Just basically goes right back to what we've talked about even with some of these school shootings. There's just the lack of empathy. There's these kids who just cannot put themselves in the other person's shoes and understand what their actions affect other people. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where it comes from, but it has to. I think we're all agreeing it's coming from the home.
All right. We want to thank you all for joining us on this.
And again, I want to clap it up for the Factor Uncensored, hosted by Isaiah Carey. Now, like I said, man, I agree with most of what they said, but also I do want to place some of the notion on, peer pressure is major. My son, he'll be 10 in January, and man, I have so many conversations with him about bullying, about treating everybody with respect, because when I was in middle school, high school, I don't care if you was gay, straight, slim, big, obese, I don't care. Everybody gets the same respect, and that's important. But even then, because I don't always like to say it's 100% on the parents, man, because I've seen parents out here try their best to just give their child the best values, the best knowledge. But sometimes, when the hood, or even not even just the hood, when kids who have that mean-spirited mentality just project that influence on your child, even the best kids can succumb to peer pressure. So, like I said, you can't control what your child learns at school from peers, from what they see, even online, because you can not give your child a phone. When they get to school, guess what? They are going to be around kids with a phone. They are going to look at their friend's phone. So you can't hide the world from your child. You can try, but it's something that you're not going to be able to succeed at, because you can't go and fit in your child's book bag and follow them throughout the course of their day and knock away every bit of negativity that will, not might, that will come across their timeline. But I do want to end this bonus on a positive note by highlighting a video of a bullied teen who got a sweet surprise from his new high school and how a lot of those kids made him feel welcome, because that is, like I said, man, that's what we do it for, man. I know I come on here and I talk my shit, I laugh, I joke, I might be a little extra sometimes, but we always try to preach positivity, just projecting that good energy into the world, man. Like I said, man, I don't care if you at the fucking supermarket and the cashier is moving slow. You don't gotta make him or her feel bad. You don't gotta talk shit. Go faster. You're going too slow. Like, be patient. Like, because that is a form of bullying. Everybody is not going to move or do things the way you would do. So simply try to have compassion, be understanding, man, because even if you give out that 2% of good energy, that could encourage the person who is the receiver of that to now project good energy throughout their whole day. So now you even transferring that good energy, it can lead to a trickle down effect. And that's what we want in the world, man. We want to just have the positivity continue. So let's end it on a good note of a teen who got bullied, at his previous school, but he walked into an environment that was way more positive and fulfilling to his life. So let's dive into it. Talk to me.
Old Azzy Robinson was the target of bullying a few years ago, and it tore him apart.
He became reclusive and would sleep all the time.
Everything changed when Azzy switched to a new school, Laverne High School in Tennessee. His new classmates were aware that he'd been bullied, so they wanted to do something nice for him. So two buddies walked in carrying gifts. Azzy had no idea what was going on.
We got you some stuff because of how generous you are, everything you do.
And the moment he saw new Nike sneakers that his classmates had chipped in to buy, the tears started flowing.
This is nothing, Azzy. All the stuff you've done for everyone in this class, you deserve way more than this.
Azzy whispers his gratitude.
Thank you.
But there's more. Another classmate gave him new clothes, and then came a warm pat on the back.
Those tears were pure joy. Almost proud to be me for once, because they wanted to do something for me like that.
I heard him say, for once it feels good to be Azzy. And I said, what a joy.
We love Azzy.
I want to clap it up, man, because those are the stories that we need. So like I said, man, sit down, talk to your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, or even your child. I don't care if your child's 4 to 5 years old. If they start going to preschool, it is never too young to talk to your child. So like I said, man, John H. Show, this is that LCP.
Brand new LCP.
Continue to support. And as always, let your friends know, your mama, your auntie, your coworker, your niece, your nephew. And like I said earlier, man, we are now live on Amazon Music. And also we are live on that iHeartRadio. So stay locked in. Stay tuned in. It's your boy. We out this.